Alrighty, so this literally just happened. This was not something I planned on covering today, but let's go ahead and see what the hell is happening here. So ABC, all right, New York Times, it's time to shut the fuck up and stop advertising to me. All right, can we all have like a collective agreement, all of us together as friends and family? Never link me a fucking New York Times article. Never, ever, ever. Democracy dies in darkness, and yet for some fucking reason, all of these places want to have a paywall. There we go. All right, now that we've had our collective agreement not to do that, New York Times determined to shove everything into darkness. Yeah, apparently. All right. So ABC pulls Jimmy Kimmel Live off air indefinitely over Charlie Kirk comments. Let's see what's going on here. ABC on Wednesday night pulled the Jimmy Kimmel Live Late Show off the air indefinitely after controversial comments by its host about the slain conservative activist Charlie Kirk. The announcement came hours after the head of the Federal Communications Commission suggested the broadcast license of ABC, which is a subsidiary of Disney, was at risk. Fucking hell. Fuck the FCC. Fuck the FCC. Jesus Christ. And after Nexstar Media Group said its stations affiliated with ABC would preempt Jimmy Kimmel Live for the foreseeable future, beginning with tonight's show. Jimmy Kimmel, during his opening monologue for Monday Night Show, suggested that Tyler Robinson, the man accused of fatally shooting Charlie Kirk, was aligned with President Donald Trump's MAGA movement. Okay, now, we did have some evidence to suggest that. We've got some stuff to cover in relation to the Tyler Robinson shooting. I guess I might as well wrap this all together. But this feels callous. This feels callous as hell. Let me go ahead and throw a couple things at you. Dusty says, get out, bro. What the fuck? Dusty, what you talking about, bud? Also, how are you doing? Hopefully you're having a wonderful time. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're having a great day so far. Charlie said, and I quote, blackies were prowling after dark. Fucking hell. The MAGA gang desperately wants to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it. In between the finger pointing, there was grieving, he added. An ABC spokesman on Wednesday night said Jimmy Kimmel Live will be preempted indefinitely. However, FCC Chair Brendan Carr told conservative podcaster Benny Johnson that Kimmel's comments were truly sick. Ah, I see. I see. So we have more evidence that it's not the right wing that gets fucking censored. It's always going to be liberals and the left. It's always going to be liberals and the left that get our voices tarnished as a result. Our YouTube videos get fewer views now, our channels get deprioritized in algorithms, and those of us who have successful shows on other broadcasts get the knees cut out from us. Then they said this is a very, very serious issue right now for Disney. These companies can find ways to take action on Kimmel, or there is going to be additional work for the FCC ahead. They have a license granted by us at the FCC, and that comes with an obligation to operate in the public interest. Okay, here's a thought. The public has an interest in freedom of speech. I thought the right wing was all about freedom of speech. I also thought they were all about throwing away tyrannical governments with their guns, but they don't do that with their Second Amendment, and they definitely don't do jack all fuck shit with the first. Nexstar, which is seeking FCC approval for $6.2 billion for a merger with Tegna, in a statement said Nexstar strongly objects to the recent comments by Mr. Kimmel concerning the killing of Charlie Kirk and will replace the show with other programming in its ABC-affiliated markets. Andrew Alford, the president of Nexstar's broadcasting division, said Mr. Kimmel's comments about the death of Mr. Kirk are offensive and insensitive at a critical time in our national political discourse. How is it a critical time? How was it a critical time? Explain to me how right now is magically a more critical time than anywhere else. I swear to God, kids get mowed down in fucking schools and nobody bats an eye anymore. But the minute it's a right-wing podcaster, everybody loses their mind. They then said continuing to give Mr. Kimmel a broadcast platform in the communities we serve is simply not in the public interest at the current time. In the public interest? In the public interest? Oh, no. It has nothing to do with the public interest. It has everything to do with how much money you want from your moderate and right-wing viewers. It has nothing to do with public interest. It has to do with gaining interest. Now, let's go ahead and get one thing clear in regards to all this. It's not just gonna be random fucking outrage in regards to this. That's not gonna do us any good. Let me show you what we are looking at in our current media landscape right now. We are seeing, firstly, the texts from alleged Tyler Robinson and alleged lover or roommate, whoever the fuck cares anymore, whoever the fuck can even tell what's going on with this story anymore. And then we have payment processors trying to censor video games and trying to censor speech. And it's all fucking connected. Every single person who gets their knees cut out from them in the media landscape for their opinions on Charlie Kirk is part of this entire kerfuffle where payment processors and our own United States government are trying to squash particular opinions to make it so that we do not have effective political discourse against them. Let's go ahead and quickly look at the conversation with Tyler Robinson, alleged Tyler Robinson. So I've been seeing a lot of people talk about this particular bit, these text messages, trying to figure out whether or not they're actually real. I have no idea. I guess you'll have to be the judge here. Robinson allegedly says, drop what you're doing, look under the keyboard, to the roommate that he was apparently in a relationship with. Roommate says, what? You're joking, right? Robinson says, I'm still okay, my love, but I am stuck in Orem for a little while longer yet. Shouldn't be long until I can come home, but I gotta grab my rifle still. To be honest, I had hoped to keep this secret till I died of old age. So the official story right now with the rifle is that he took apart the rifle and disassembled it after shooting Charlie Kirk, put it in his backpack, and then reassembled the rifle and put it in a bag in like near a tree and wrapped it in a fucking towel, and then the authorities found it there. That's weird. Also, yeah, I was arguing with K-Fox earlier today that I've seen people talk like this. I play MMORPGs. I've seen people say some weird cringy shit, but it's the little while longer yet that seems strange to me. Also, there's a couple other things that are weird to me. Originally, I thought, hey, maybe this is very verbose because the dude is using his voice to text as he's walking around or some shit. And instead, I realized that that can't be the case because the capitalization is wrong. And when you use voice to text, the first sentence in anything, it does auto-capitalize. Axo says nobody's talking about the Epstein files anymore, just saying, yeah, weird, right? Wild. The roommate saying, you weren't the one who did it, right? And Robinson allegedly says, I am. I'm sorry. I thought they caught the person. Again, this is really weird to me considering that the story is that he had the ability to leave scot-free, and then he reassembled his rifle and then stuck it somewhere. What the fuck? Then Robinson goes, no, they grabbed some crazy old dude, then interrogated someone in similar clothing. I had planned to get my rifle from my drop point shortly after, but most of that side of town got locked down. It's quiet, almost enough to get out, but there's one vehicle lingering. Okay, I can be convinced that somebody is speaking this way. Again, I can't be convinced that anybody thought that their master plan would involve taking apart a rifle, putting it as a designated drop zone, and then going and retrieving the rifle again later when he had plenty of time. So you're telling me that this is a person who's been paying attention to the news enough that they know that somebody else was being interrogated. Somebody else has been captured. A decoy effectively had been grabbed. And yet he decided that, fuck it. Cappy Capri, thank you very much for following. But yet this guy decided, fuck it. I'm not only going to stick around longer, but I'm also going to put my gun at a drop point, but I'm also going to turn myself in. When asked why he did it, Robinson said, I had enough of his hatred. Some hate can't be negotiated out. Robinson says, if I'm able to grab my rifle unseen, I'll have left no evidence. Why are you saying this shit via text message? I feel like anybody who's 22 years old has lived with technology their entire life and understands that the last thing you should ever be doing in any situation is leaving a paper trail. So he not only left a manifesto, according to this set of text messages, not only left a manifesto in the apartment with the roommate, but also left a just giant trail of evidence not only here, but also on Discord. And yeah, to be fair, some people are dumb as shit. Some people are dumb as shit. When asked how long he'd been planning this, he said a bit over a week, I believe. I can get close to it, but there's a squad car parked right by it. I think they already swept that spot, but I don't want to chance it. Now, a lot of people have been saying, I don't know who the hell calls cop cars squad cars anymore. I don't know either, but bear in mind, I am not the most attached to Gen Z's language, so I have no idea if this is real or not based on that. Robinson then says, allegedly, I'm wishing I had circled back and grabbed it as soon as I got my vehicle. I'm worried what my old man would do if I didn't bring back Grandpa's rifle. I don't even know if it had a serial number, but it wouldn't trace to me. I worry about prints. I had to leave it in a bush when I changed outfits. How are you worried about prints? You're telling me that you didn't use gloves? You're telling me that all of this and the one thing you didn't fucking do was use gloves? Axo says, oh, and on the TikTok side of things, apparently some people are unable to search up the term groiper. TikTok recently got a new TOS censoring any politically charged topics. Yeah, that all tracks into this. All of it. Jimmy Kimmel losing his show, TikTok trying to ban politically charged topics, all of it factors into the same problem. All of it factors in to the idea that our government right now is actively trying to censor ideas, is actively trying to censor people, and make it easier for them to do their shit unchecked. Donald Trump has for years been an enemy of legacy media. He has for years been an enemy of places that will report his candid bullshit. So, let's go ahead and continue. Robinson saying he wishes he circled back. He might have to abandon the rifle and hope they didn't find any prints. How the fuck will I explain losing it to my old man? How will I explain losing it to my old man? Now, this is another bit that I've seen other creators scrutinize. The idea that somebody is calling their dad their old man, saying, who do you know in Gen Z that talks like this? Well, I'm going to let you know right now, most people who ask that question don't know a lot of people in Gen Z in the first fucking place. There's plenty of people who use the term my old man across generations, and again, the lingo of different generations is starting to amalgamate. Once upon a time, it was way easier to distinguish which generation was responsible for which bit of humor, which generation was responsible for which bit of language. But that's kind of blurring together now in the age of the internet, where any influencer can be any age, any movie reference can be its own thing, but anything can be distorted by anybody on the internet, where a lot of us are anonymous. And so things will get ascribed as Gen Z lingo or like originating from Gen Z, but they originated from some boomer or some millennial who just happens to be online a lot. Marilana says old man's a super common way to say dad up in Utah and Idaho. Yeah, again, I've never called my dad my old man, but I also didn't have a super close relationship with my dad growing up. But I've heard the lingo of my old man a lot over the course of my life. I don't think anybody who's trying to hang their hat on this isn't a Gen Zer because of the language understands that the internet has amalgamized language. Only thing I left was the rifle wrapped in a towel. Remember how I was engraving bullets? The fucking messages are mostly a big meme. If I see notices bulge, that word I'm not going to say on the internet, on Fox News, I might have a stroke, all right? I'm going to have to leave it. That really fucking sucks. Judging from today, I'd say Grandpa's gun does just fine. I don't know. I think that was a 2K scope. And then has an emoji at the end, or emoticon at the end. Old Gus, thank you for redeeming your points for an Allwall. Robinson then says, delete this exchange. My guy, you've lived with technology your entire life. You definitely understand that those records are kept by your provider. Robinson then goes, my dad wants photos of the rifle. He says grandpa wants to know who has what. The feds released a photo of the rifle, and it's very unique. He's calling me right now, not answering. Since Trump got into office, my dad has been pretty hard MAGA. I'm going to turn myself in willingly. One of my neighbors here is a deputy for the sheriff. You are all I worry about, love. Roommate then says, I'm much more worried about you. And Robinson goes, don't talk to the media, please. Don't take any interviews or make any comments. If any police ask you questions, ask for a lawyer and stay silent. Okay, so the opinions I've been seeing flowing around about this are how so much, like every single hole that exists within the narrative that Kash Patel's FBI has spun about this, all of those holes get patched up by this exchange. The manifesto note that tells you why he killed Charlie Kirk, it was destroyed, but they have forensic evidence it was there. The dude's dating his roommate, okay, well, that information is there as well. All of it is there, and it's very, very convenient. And that's the thing. It's weird that every single bit of information is explained almost like it's to us, the reader. It's really weird. Sakura says it's both too convenient and reads like a boomer or Gen Xer wrote it. Again, language is getting amalgamized. I don't think that we can assume how it was written tells us anything about the people there. But we also do not have screenshots of this at all. We don't have any information that shows us the timestamps for this. We just have the transcript, which just reads like it was written up as a script and then thrown here. I don't know if it's real or not. I have no way of verifying that, but I do want to look at the information as it comes out and then throw that to y'all and see what y'all's opinion is. I think it's premature. Even if somebody correctly guesses that this is right or wrong, I think it's premature to make that claim without enough evidence. But this is all coming around the same time that information about shit like this is going to be censored more and more. Payment processors are pressuring major gaming vendors to pull LGBTQ titles and NSFW titles. This is the shit that happened with itch.io, where payment processors decided they were the moral police over what could or could not be sold. If I give my dollar to somebody, the bank shouldn't be able to get in the way and say, actually, I disagree with that. PayPal has been withholding thousands of funds that were supposed to go to fucking Palestinians. These are supposed to be neutral payment processors, and instead, we are watching them, the people who control the money, get directly involved in politics and try to be arbiters of truth and morality. PayPal, fuck the fuck off. You are not the arbiter of truth or morality. As Gaza is bombarded, GoFundMe donations get stuck in limbo. This is happening with PayPal. This is happening with GoFundMe. This is happening with tons and tons of payment processors. And guess what? It's even happening now to fucking HoloLive. HoloLive, the VTuber organization, is having to discontinue affiliations with PayPal. These dumb motherfuckers are trying to control who gets to say what and where our dollars are allowed to go. All the while, we are watching people get their shows pulled off of broadcast because of their opinions. Now, by the way, what Jimmy Kimmel should do is start a YouTube channel. Like, the correct thing to do here is to start a fucking YouTube channel. Easy. But we are watching the people who control the money, the payment processors, and of course the United States government that controls the dollar, and the dollar is the basis for a lot of fucking currency. We are watching all of these people attempt to be their own ministries of truth, their own arbiters of truth. Meanwhile, we're getting mixed information from these very organizations that may or may not be true and is hard as hell to actually verify. And it's all infuriating. And mind you, these are all distractions from a couple of things. One, the Epstein files still have not been released. And two, the United States government and the money that controls it is wanting to censor speech. I'm lucky that I am not part of a large broadcaster, and my channel is small enough to be under most radars. I'm able to say what I want to say and not really get scrutinized too heavily about it. But then Vosh and Hassan, who are much larger than me, get their names blasted on the goddamn news. We are living in spoopy times, guys. So let's go ahead and go over what you should be doing. 1, it's time to get clean on OPSAC. If you are gonna be chatting with your friends about weird shit, maybe it's a good idea to use Signal. Maybe it's a good idea to use any kind of encryption for your conversations. This was one of the advantages of IRC back in the day. It would probably be a good idea to start being a lot more stealthy if you plan on doing dumb shit. Never plan to end up on the news. We are watching the right wing of the United States try to call for violence more and more, and we're supposed to be better than that. But they're going to come up with 10,000 different ways and arguments to say that we are evil people, we are violent people, we are bad people. So it's probably a good idea to never give them ammunition towards that end. Shadow Wolf, thank you very much for resubscribing. I appreciate it. That said, that's all I've got for all those updates. Let me know what you plan on doing in the comment section below. But again, nothing that you wouldn't want to be shown on a fucking newscast. Hey, thanks for making it to the end of the video. I really could not do any of this without all of you. Those of you watching, and especially those of you who support me on Patreon. I wanted to go ahead and take a minute to thank all of you who do that, because with YouTube being what it is these days, I really cannot do this full time without the support from each and every one of you. Those people would be Red Joker, Purple Poundini, Jemshin, Britzkrieg, Jupe the Malignant, Michael, Ravalern, Mabbity Babbity, Astral Frontier, Tales of Atonement, Nixie Chan, Kiri Artemis, Limor Pinku, Love Bunny Games, Victorian Alchemist, I'm not saying the last part of that, and you know that, Aurora, Leela Ururaka, Arcton Arclacier, Kiratorian, Dren Hadamata, Jordan M, John L, Lord Bleck, Smiling Game Master, and Fireshard. Thank you so very much. But since you're here, why not go ahead and try watching another one? There should be one that's on the screen right now. And if you are a patron of mine, I wanted to go ahead and thank you again for all of your support. There is still a video you could press though, if you'd like. I would appreciate it. Just a little bit.